Until very recently, mediation was a totally new concept. What is it? How does it work? Trying to appreciate the large-scale significance of such a new notion is like trying to see in its entirety a major ocean liner of tremendous proportion that's moving toward us. We can form our opinion on an unknown phenomenon based only on that part that is visible to our eyes. Mediation's role and opportunities that it presents, it's kind of a big liner. It has not been comprehended for the larger part. What matters most, though, is not letting this liner pass by. It should work to benefit people. And so it will, as soon as we learn how to steer the liner. The most common understanding that I have encountered the most, mediation is the procedure to avoid litigation or an alternative dispute resolution. Well, let it be so. A resolution of dispute that are about to be taken to a court is a very important aspect of mediation. There is one essential inaccuracy in this definition, though. From the perspective of the modern understanding of mediation, based on negotiation strategy proposed by Roger Fisher and William Ury in their Getting to Yes book, mediation solves a problem, not a dispute. What is the difference? Conflict is both a dispute and a problem. Let's take a very simple example when two colleagues arguing and listen to two different phrases with which these two people would approach an imaginary mediator. And you will see these phrases pose totally different tasks. We need to resolve the dispute. We need to solve the problem. The situation is the same, but in the first case, people are in the dispute. It means that the essential thing is to establish who is right, who is to blame to, and yes, who owes what to whom. It is a human nature to think by judging in this way. In other words, the task posed in this case is of a distributive nature. When people say we have a problem, like in the second case, they call for something to be done to resolve it. Supposing the joint efforts will be taken to find ways to achieve the resolution. And what is key here is that the problem will be resolved in a way beneficial to both sides. Otherwise, the problem is not resolved. You cannot say to one of them, let's solve the problem a bit sacrificing your interest in favor of your colleague. We need to do this for the sake of common interest. The dialogue will stop because the resolution is not beneficial equally to both sides. It is in the interest of only one of them, while the other is not interested in its implementation anymore. But if it is advantageous to both parties, the process will continue and might be very successful. Why dispute resolution at court is of a distributive nature? Now, to begin with, a court's job is primarily to divide the arguing parties into two categories, right and wrong, and then take the problem and slice it like the cordon knot into two pieces. Then the offending party, recognized as wrong, would be identified. Given that you are not right, you get a big piece of the problem, which means that you will return something, you will pay something back, or you will give way, or you will no longer do something. In any case, though, let the winning side be declared right. Let it be awarded compensation. It remains with its piece of the same remaining problem. The winning side's debit is certainly smaller, but nevertheless the following remains with him or her: no escape from hurt caused by the conflict, stressful effect on state of mind and health, missed opportunities, lost time, broken relationships. And why was the victorious side stuck with all of this? Because none of them can be compensated by the instruments available to the court. As a rule, the tool that is available to the court, the award of a material consideration, not only doesn't cover material damages fully, it doesn't cover moral damages almost at all. At the emotional level, this kind of dispute resolution can be presented in a very simple way. Distributive character means that a whole something should be divided into pieces. I would rather say destroyed or broken into pieces. Demonstrated figuratively, this whole thing would not be a whole, say, watermelon, a delicious, fragrant, large berry. I am obsessed with watermelons. No. In a figurative way, the problem could be presented in the form of a bucket full of live cockroaches. A portion of cockroaches is scooped up and then put in a bag, and each of the parties in the dispute receives a bag of these living insects. The one that turned out to be right and the others are those declared wrong. The only difference in what the parties get is that the side recognized as right received the smaller package. Cockroaches do not care whether you are right or wrong. They would not bother themselves about the interest of the sides. They care exclusively about their own needs. A court, of course, gives a certain relief to the parties in conflict. It splits up what needs to be divided in between them. Afterwards, parties might no longer be in contact with each other. In most cases, it gives a certain relief. It eases the existence for the parties in conflict. But nevertheless, each of the parties still holds a proportion of cockroaches. So, what questions should we ask ourselves when we are in conflict with someone? What to do? Break off the relationship? Sack an employee because he showed disrespect to me despite his high effectiveness in my business? Break off relations with a partner because he crossed a red line? Split up because you cannot live like this anymore? Get out of this circle of people because you have been misunderstood for a very long time? And finally, bring a case to court? Instead of all this, the right questions are: which solution will work? Which choice will improve the course of my life? Will it shape my happiness, increase my well-being? Will it advance me toward my life goal? What will contribute to my good fortune? What will restore my broken relationship? But showing due respect to a court of law, let us turn to origins of this concept. What is the role of court? Court guarantees the rule of justice in a society. It is of tremendous importance. A rule of law is a fundamental when it comes to situations exceptional, extraordinary, like in the case of crimes against person. But does rule of law and justice matter to the one who is in conflict with his business partner and the business is at risk? Does justice matter to the one whose career is getting ruined because of conflict with colleague, who is losing his family? Yes, it does. It does matter to all of them, like air matters to our life. The rule of law is the heart of a constitutional state. It is the foundation of the stability of our lives. But air itself does not create a platform to new contracts, does not inspire us to new projects, nor send us on exciting journeys, and nor does it fulfill our dreams. Additionally, a trial involves tremendous, I almost said costs. That are not costs, that are irreparable losses, loss of personal time, money, and emotional energy. Mediation should be understood more broadly, especially in the light of conflict that we live through in our day-to-day life. It's crucial to make this tool work for the well-being of people. Any conflict that hurts, not only pre-trial, but any conflict that baffles and unsettles us, prevents us from increasing our well-being, undermines important relationship, may require special attention, a calm analysis, and a creative approach. Sometimes it's helpful to look at the situation from outside or from someone else's perspective. It helps to relieve the stress. Remember what Uguay once said to Master Shifu?
Your mind is like this water, my friend. When it is agitated, it becomes difficult to see. But if you allow it to settle, the answer becomes clear.
In any case, finding a way to keep people on side, to seek opportunities for collaboration on joint projects, to increase earning potential, and take interest in journeys is all extremely important. The easiest way probably is to do it without assistance, by yourself. Nevertheless, it's important not to slam the door behind you. And if you get in trouble resolving the situation yourself, always remember that mediation is a tool that almost always at hand. The bottom line is that well-being and happiness should be the main guides to our actions. If a court or an arbitration tribunal does not have a chance, does not seek to, and speaking frankly is not really under obligation to be guided by the welfare of both parties, thinking that both parties having resolved the dispute could significantly advance in building up their happiness, could have a chance to increase their income, gain an opportunity to attend a concert of their favorite artist in London, see masterpieces at Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York, spend more time with their kids, make desired acquisitions. If a court or an arbitration tribunal do not open door to all these opportunities, you probably need to find another way to resolve your dispute. Oh no, not a dispute, but a problem.